Hi there, and welcome back to the channel. So it's been quite a bit of time since the last time I was here and able to do a video when I was working on tracking guitars for my drugstore cowboy tune. But first, I was just taking a few days off, just like spending time with the family. Then it kept raining, like storming, right before I would go to come here, and since I don't have good sound separation, isolation from the outdoors, when the rain falls, it makes so much noise so you can't record. And then my son, who is, I've got 4 kids, the oldest one is 20, and he was on an honors college trip to Quebec, Canada, and everything went fine, but his roommate gave him COVID. So he has to stay there, like he's in, like a quarantine at a hotel now in Canada, because he can't get back into the country. So that had me, as you can imagine, a bit distracted, and I had to deal with that. Luckily, it's all sorted, but pretty annoying. He's like, just has to sit isolated for like 8 days. So yeah. So I haven't been practicing with the drum track. So I've been at home, just playing the part and perfecting, as much as I can. Still in tune as well. I have been playing in E flat. That's my favorite way to play a Strat. But this song belongs in standard. So I'm starting to realize which songs belong in standard, which songs don't. And this one just felt like it belonged in standard. And I don't sing very high, so if I drop it down, it's even lower, and it sounds just kind of stretched. They were living drugstore cowboy lives. And I like to start like on the higher end that you start when you're in G in standard, as opposed to drop down. It just would be lower, and there's no need. So going with standard, and I can't guarantee that I'm going to get a take tonight, because this is one of the harder not that the part is hard, the part's simple. It's just the timing thing with the drums, like landing on all those ones, like the boom, boom, boom. That whole section, you have to, hit those whole notes dead on. It's like, so I just wanted to get back in the groove of making videos again, and working on music, and getting my mind back focused off of other issues, things going on in my life, just so I can. I think this actually helps distract me from things I have no control over, essentially, and keeps me productive, which is what I want to do. I've got to finish this record. That's my goal. And when I finish it, I want to do something with it. I want to like push it out there, and I want to get. I want to do live shows, and it's going to be different, than it was with the other band, because these songs are different, and I'm not sure how it's going to come off live, and I don't even know when live will even happen again. It's not like the shows were well attended before COVID, and now with all this COVID stuff. Like after seeing what's happened to my son over in Canada, I'm like, man, this is really tough for everyone. You go somewhere and try to do something, and now you've got to deal with this virus everywhere you go, and it really slows things down. I would assume that it's still a big factor in shows, but honestly, back in the 90s or whatever, we'd never play a show for less than like 30 people. There was always just people around. And we worked our way up to like 100 plus. But nowadays, man, I don't know. When we were playing shows, there's just like nobody around. People aren't just walking into bars like they were in the night, like back in the day. It's just a different environment, different world, different music, all that kind of stuff. So it's not like the shows I was playing were well attended anyway. I'm not sure what you got to do to unlock it. It's just it's a thing. This whole virus thing is really not conducive to some of our projects, that we like to do, because it's in the way. All right, so let's see what I can do here. I'm also worried about phase. I was looking at these mics, like, are these mics perfect? I tested them. See, what I do is I got the little stick and everything, and I have my finger. It's hard to describe, but they look about right. We'll find out. Ugh. Too many things. Okay, now on the amp, what I had done is I've got it in the hot channel, the loud channel, and everything's turned up. I've learned that most amplifiers, most tone stacks, and this doesn't have a tone stack, it just has one tone knob, but all the way turned up is essentially flat. So that's kind of like flat EQ for this amp. All tone knobs do is reduce. They don't add. They're typically reduction, unless I misunderstood that. All right, so somebody will tell if I did. All right, so this one, I think I was in the bridge pickup because I kind of want it cleaner and thicker and fuller. And I apologize if I already covered this in that other video I made when I started tracking this, or when I set the microphones up. I'm trying to get my footing again here. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's put that on like 3. Tone's really nice. It's super clean. Let's see what it sounds like on the neck pickup, just for giggles. See, it's too Rickenbacker, too stratty, too rock. Too much bite. All right, let's go to the middle. Sounds rather nice. Let's go to the bridge. It's obvious which one is the best for this particular tune, and it's the bridge. If you want to stay clean on this guitar, and you know what you're doing with your amp, the bridge is hard to beat for like a really beautiful clean tone. You don't get any nasty. It's just like so clear. It's very hi-fi sounding almost, which is not the goal of the Strat, but that's what it's like to me. Make sure. Tone off a bit because I had the bridge wired to where it'll work with the tone control, but I like the full ring and sparkle of everything just wide open. Okay, so let's see what happens when I get the headphones on. If I can hear everything, we'll just have to see what happens. I'm just a little off, just trying to get my bearings here. Hopefully I can hear everything, the drums and all that. So it'll take me a minute to get the mix right. Okay, so right off the bat I could tell that the drums were not loud enough to cue me. So I fixed that. Let me play along again one more time. Okay, so that's pretty hard. I'll tell you what I did wrong. I could not hear the drums very well, so I need to get the drums up. I goofed up 2 out of 3 comeback ends, like to come back to the 1, so it's like wait, what am I trying to say? Okay, so after you end on the A minor, and it's click on the stick to start up again, all of those I rushed them. So it's like click. And I was like click. Like on top, ahead of the drums. So what I'm going to do, instead of beating my head against the wall and it's already like getting into the evening, I'm going to take this home and really practice those changes tonight. Come back, track tomorrow. Let me listen to one more time before I wrap this what the tone is like, just to make sure. It sounded all different in the headphones. I just want to make sure I still love it for reals. You know, not just do the way the headphones are changing the sound of it somehow in some way. It's like when you look at the volume indicator, the numbers, it's almost a 3. If you're looking at the middle pickup and the way the magnets line up, it's like it's 2.7 or 8, which I think is the perfect balance. This bridge pickup, this Lawler pickup, is just absolutely unbelievable. I just don't understand how they got this so right. It's just unreal. That's one of the best clean tones I have ever heard. That is insane. And I'm on a Marshall amp. Unreal. Okay, so let me see real quick what happens on round 2. I'm not going to keep the camera rolling too long, make the video too long, because I'm not being that productive right now. Here we go. See if this is in. Oh, I'm going to bring those drum levels. So I go back to my 3rd row, which is 17 to 24. Just crank these babies up and thoroughly blow those eardrums out so that I have ringing for the next 25 years. Okay, here we go. Checking my panny Q levels. 100 for you. Stop right there. And 100 for you. Okay, now I'll go back a few, and here we go. 1, 2, 3. On that one. it's like you gotta let off the A minor. You'll hear the difference in the note, but there's no other way if you want to have one long take. The other way I could do this would be to combine them like an Audacity, like play to each verse. But I think I want to really play it. It'll just be more realistic. I don't know. I think guitar players would hear that it's one take and like that better. At least I'm going to like it better. It doesn't really matter what anybody else thinks. So watch. So let's see if I can nail that. 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. Problem is solved. Need to cut the fingernails down even lower, because this type of chording, you have to come straight down onto the fretboard as opposed to like the flat finger stuff. So I really want to get these nails trimmed down too, but that was starting to feel good. If I take this baby home, plug it in with a sim, and rock along tomorrow night, watch me lay this down after 100 takes. Now, hopefully I'll be able to lay it down at like 2 or 3. At this incredible tone of this guitar. It's just, Nice. All right, so one thing I wanted to mention, a cultural reference point, is the death of Ray Liotta. Mainly, people are going to mention the film Goodfellas, which is absolutely stunning and carried that film. If you ask me, he's better than De Niro in that picture. He's like just the guy for that movie. Incredible. And De Niro's an absolute genius, Raging Bull, blah, 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 Taxi Driver. But I'm telling you, the performance in Goodfellas, that's what he's known for, which is great because it's absolutely stunning. But I will direct your attention to the Jonathan Demme directed film Something Wild. and I've probably done that before. I probably mentioned it a bunch of times, but I think it's a masterpiece. It's one of my favorite all-time films. I consider Ray Liotta to be a genius actor, one of those guys who's just lucky, you know, just born a genius as an actor. And his scenes in Something Wild, you know, I'll warn you if you are squeamish about violence or terrible behavior. You know, if you've seen Goodfellas, you know, you're ready for it. But it's a stunning performance in this film. And Jonathan Demme means a lot to me. He is the guy who directed Stop Making Sense, the Talking Heads film. And I've gone back and forth with obsessing on the Talking Heads over the years. And he directed Spalding Gray's Swimming to Cambodia, Melvin and Howard, his first film, I forgot the name of it. That's a good one too. He did Silence of the Lambs, which is what he's most known for. He actually did a really good remake of The Manchurian Candidate, which is hard to imagine because that's like a masterpiece of its own. And then he did a really, really well done remake of it. Denzel Washington and Liev Schreiber, and Liev Schreiber's fantastic in that film. Great actor. But Ray Liotta, one of the great all-time, you know, actors of my era, and I remember seeing Something Wild. I found out that it existed and that it was coming on. I think it was coming on Cinemax. So I had a friend of mine tape it on VHS. I was like, hey, this is like 1987. And I think Something Wild came out in 86. I was like, will you tape this for me, this movie? So we watched the movie, and it just blew my mind. It was like opening up some cultural avenues that I hadn't ever seen depicted on film. And it was stuff that was important to me that I couldn't believe somebody was able to get into a movie. Like the music. He was almost like a music director. He could have been if he hadn't been such a genius director, he probably could have gotten work as like a musical supervisor because he could just put together the best soundtracks. And Something Wild has David Byrne solo music in it, Steve Jones solo music, I think Oingo Boingo's on it. But what's great is like the actual movie has even better music. Yellow Man is on there, who's a really cool reggae singer. Several great artists are in the movie, and the vibe of the film. Like if people, I know young people are interested in the 1980s, you know, because it was a very interesting time to look back on, Reagan and just the 80s culture, all the music, pop music that was filtered down from the things that happened in England. Fascinating to watch how it all happened. It's like a transference between us and England to create all that music. And the 80s was like, everything about it was like it was kind of a clusterfuck, honestly. It was like just so much stuff going on. But Something Wild, like watching Jonathan Demme movies and watching a movie like Something Wild will really give you that 80s feel. And it'll give you the other side of the 80s. It's not the stuff, the top 40 80s, you know. It'll give you like a glimpse into, man, New York back in the 80s. What a cool place, you know. It's like very different now, and he captured New York in the 80s. The music and Ray Liotta, his performance in this film is just, you know, I don't even want to say too much about the movie if you've never seen it, and if it's the kind of thing that would move you, it's going to be shocking at how great it is. The band The Feelies is in Something Wild. I love The Feelies. And the last time I saw Mark, he had The Good Earth, a brand new copy of it. I've got the original copy, but he had a real nice new reissue of it. And we listened to the whole record all the way through, and I was just stunned at how good it was. I forgot how good of a band. And that's what Jonathan Demme would do. He'd find bands like the Feelies and make them prominent enough that we're still talking about them in 2022. And you can go back and listen to that record that was made in the 80s, and it still sounds very timely, very, very good. They didn't make any mistake. Sorry, the camera died, but it reminded me, shoot, I forgot what I was saying. Reminded me of So Mark got the Feelies record, The Good Earth, like a reissue record. Looked exactly the same as the original one that I had. There's a brand new clean copy. Open it up, put it on the turntable. We listened to the whole thing, side one, side two, and I was just stunned. I was like remembering, oh man, I forgot how good this band was, you know. And that's what Jonathan Demme would do. He would find an obscure band like the Feelies and showcase them in the film, and they play a prominent role in the high school reunion scene of the film. And it's hard to even explain, but it's absolutely genius. And the girl that was the singer for the Suburban Lawns is in it. I forgot her name. Sue Tissue. She's in it. And John Waters is in it. I got to meet John Waters once. That was really fun. But who else? The other filmmaker that directed the movie about the miners. What's that guy? Secaucus 7. He did the Secaucus 7, and he did the miner movie. Shoot, what's that guy's name? Forgetting. He's in it as well. And absolutely stunning movie. And it reminded me that I saw the Feelies open for Lou Reed. And once again, the musical curating that Jonathan Demme did, and the fact that we're still remembering bands like the Feelies, and I think it's because of Jonathan Demme. I think that band would have definitely been forgotten, but they make a prominent appearance in the film, and they made a great record. And there's a scene where Ray Liotta is driving down the road in this cool car, and they play "Slipping Into Something," which is on that Feelies record. And I'm telling you, it's transcendent. Next time.